Good morning, friends. I come to you as a princess here for a reason. I'm going to read a journal that I just now wrote, and it's Friday, 6/3/2011, and the Mayan day is 9 Reed. It's called The Divine We, Exploring the Forest of You. As I sat here to ponder and meditate, it came to me to feel into the divine we that kings and royalty would take as their personal pronoun. Not I, but we, they would say. Well, though I don't quite know all that's behind that, I don't really care. I find it is applicable to us, to each and every soul on this earth. The divine we, how could that be applicable to me, you say? Well, to start out, of course we are divine. That is largely what we have had raped from us here in these last few thousands of years, maybe more. Memory is fuzzy. At any rate, I hope that we can all claim our own native divinity. Even if you can't see it manifest in any outer way, that doesn't matter. You are still that. And heart knows this. That's where you go to discover it. Now, what about the we part then? How can the obviously singular take the plural? Well, let's have some fun with this one, shall we? First, get out of your head. Best to drop down into heart if you hope to follow this and have it make some kind of sense. So, how is a we? How is one a we? In what way are we plural? Well, the obvious place to start would be with multiple lifetimes, but let's leave that off for a moment to look at something else. Just in this one lifetime alone, we each have many timelines. We have multiple existences across all of these timelines, so sink down into that. Get the feel of it. For each decision you make, each little one, there's a you that made the other decision. We branch off constantly that way. That's one of the ways that the little things count. You hear me saying that. They determine your choice of timeline. And you can jump timelines, but let's not go there now. Let's stick to basic delineation of you. Now, don't think that just because you don't have full conscious awareness of the you that is walking these other timelines, that is not you. It is. You are that too. It's just another area of your consciousness, shall we say. You are far grander, far vaster than you presently conceive. Even just to get this piece of the puzzle is enough to create a great deal of expansion in awareness. Expand out into it. Feel it out. Are you getting the feel of it? Just expand out into the possibility, that's all. Simply make room for the maybe that's so of it. Have a flexible perspective. Be an explorer with me, but stay at heart with this. Don't go exploring those timelines just now. We're not finished. It is from heart center that all of this can be accessed anyway. One needn't go anywhere. All is one. All is accessible within. Who and what am I? That is the big question for all of us, and it's a delight to explore. So do remember, in spite of how solid and stable 3D life may seem, there is infinity and eternity, and you occupy that in many ways, currently largely unknown to conscious awareness. So let's get rid of some barriers, some limits placed in our conscious awareness, shall we? Let's ditch some of our programming to smallness, to an inferior state. As Jessica Schaub says, there are no limits, only beliefs. I second that. Let's ditch some beliefs. So, how are you doing there at seeing self in this way, as being so spread out laterally, as having so many existences? Are you ready for that? Can you imagine it? You don't have to believe any of this. Just take the adventure. Go exploring. See yourself continually branching out, rather like a tree. At each decision point, another branching. Often two, but sometimes more timelines open up from a particular decision. They each go their own way. Some have expressed something like this as multiple universes. I don't know about that. I'm looking at it only from the perspective of me, of you. Thus, I see multiple selves, yet each one I am. I am that. One day we will get to direct experience of all of the universe, of the cosmos, as I am that. But for now, it is enough to stick with the current body, to branch out from there. This is not philosophy. This is accessible via inner experience. The barriers in the way are largely beliefs. Take them down. Anything that limits self, have a good look at that and be very suspicious. Suspicious that it is in some way incorrect. Look at it like that. Don't accept limits. Now, stay in heart with this. I felt some of you exit into mind. Mind cannot steer this ship, my friends. This is alien to mind's linear ways. If you seek to explore it with mind, you will fail. Where you will go with it, I don't know. Maybe to come up with a good sci-fi novel plot. But you will still have left heart behind. And I won't argue this point. Some things need to be accepted to go on such journeys. They are prerequisites. Staying in heart is one of them. Okay, now, do you see self as this branching out pattern? Very good. Now, let's add a bit to the complexity, shall we? Let's have a look now at multiple lifetimes, at your other incarnations. Realize that they are not the linear things mind had supposed them to be. Not at all. They too all branch out this way. Oh my goodness, I hear someone say as the light bulb lights up. Yep, something like that. Kind of hard for the mind to imagine, but that's fine. Stick to heart. Heart can see the real thing. It is through heart we experience this. We transcend the linear self. Do consider now how you are one essence, one spirit, soul, or being. Even in the midst of all of the spread out, of all of this branching, you are still one. Don't you think then that via this soul, this being, you could tap into the experience? After all, it is you, it is yours. Just a thought. One way that might be helpful to view this is seeing self like a very large tree. Soul or essence could be seen as the trunk. Each major branch could be one lifetime, and the twigs and the sub-branches be the timelines. Are you ready? The bodies you wear in the midst of all of this, they're the leaves. Yes, there are many for each lifetime. You bet there are. Many more than are represented by any one tree, the divine we indeed. Like I said, this is just an aid to help view things. You probably won't find anything physical that adequately represents this. Why is that? You spread out to infinity in each lifetime. How represent that in the finite realm? Don't be limited. Your heart can do this, can go there. Leave mine behind, and that's okay, even if it feels strange to begin with. It will soon be old hat. You'll get used to it. Now, here's one way the tree analogy doesn't work. First, for each lifetime, another tree. One tree won't do it. You become a whole forest. And that's fine. In its way, that still works. Perhaps different kind of trees for different kind of incarnations. Incarnations in other planets, other star systems, wearing other sorts of bodies. So, a varied forest, with one sort of tree predominant, but maybe not the only one. You're more varied than that. Chances are you haven't only worn human bodies. Now don't be afraid of this. Remember, no limits, only beliefs. Let the blocks and barriers go. Let them drop away. You'll find on the inside the very best argument of all against prejudice. Whatever it is, if your soul is old enough, and likely it is, you'll find yourself being that. You'll find you understand it from the inside, if you've the courage to explore where your soul is gone. You see, the whole of the wide, grand oneness can be found in the self. One needn't go exploring out there anywhere. It's all within. Everything being provably fractal, that even makes mind sense, though I don't rely on mind to judge these things. It's just handy that for those still locked into mind, or mostly so, it can be seen in this way. So let's thank Source for quantum physics and the great adventurers there. We're all blessed by their explorations. So, how's that picture coming along? Have you got the self-image as a forest there? You don't have to mentally create this, just find it inside. You can have a look then and look out over the trees. You can see for yourself how many are the same and how many are different. As you look and draw close to them, they will help connect you to that lifetime, whatever and wherever it is. This represents that. Try it out. The inner self works in pictures, in images, in symbols. They have their own reality, and their reality is both informative and flexible. No hard boundaries here. Now, I started to say how this image is good, but not quite adequate, and here's why. In the midst of this multiplicity, you are still one, though we have the image of what seems to be many trees, yet their trunks in reality are all one, all the same being, the same soul. Also, hovering above is the same higher self, monad, I am presence, whatever we call it. I suppose the sun image works best for this. So, just for fun, let's make our forest self-aware. Each tree aware of itself. Okay, now let's make them other aware, aware of each other. Got that? Now, let's put them in communication with each other on some level. Just like you are on some level of awareness, aware of these other aspects of your own being. Got that? Are your trees now all in communion with each other? Okay, pour out a good dose of love all over your forest. Clear the atmosphere. Bring in the rainbow rays, the light radiance, the blessings. Let an intensity of blessings flow from above and flow up from Mother Earth into them. Let them be nourished and blessed from the inside, from the outside, and all around. And in this way, symbolically, but it's real too, you are blessing yourself. Yes, some of you are so eager, so go ahead. Now flow yourself into them. Enter your forest. Get the sense from each tree of the difference of and in what they represent. That particular lifetime. All those bodies. Truly amazing. You might let your current life be the central tree in the forest. See how the forest expands out from there. Perhaps you will find groves of similar trees representing a certain planetary experience. Who knows what you will find? It's your forest. Make of it what you will, but work with it. Don't let mind be in control. Let heart lead. Thus, we have taken our journey out of oneness or singularity, out into multiplicity, and back into oneness. In and out, we weave the thread of our conscious awareness. We didn't even look at being multidimensional, my friends. Do you realize that? We just worked with time and space in this adventure, but there's a whole other level we left out. And that's fine for now. It is not necessary to explore everything at once. You tend to run into chaos that way. Heart is able to be the wholeness, the fullness, and all at once. Through heart, you can do this, and you'll even find that it's easy once you let mind go. Until then, you'll have your challenges as you let mind into this. And that's okay too. Learn to distinguish. The vibration, the frequency, the feel of mind versus heart is distinctly different. And it doesn't take long at all of being in heart to discover this. Once you notice it, you're well on your way to mastering this distinction. Soon you'll be able to more easily spot mind when it tries to weasel its way into things, into your meditation, your pondering. Kick it out. All it will do is limit you. say no thanks, give it the boot, and just continue where you left off when you notice the entrance of thought. Now, heart does do something rather like thinking for itself. You don't need mind, my friends, not for this. Use it for what it's useful for, and these explorations of inner territory are not that. This distinction between mind's and heart's workings I call the difference between pondering and thought. Those are just words, though. Don't get lost in them. Choose your own. Words that will work, that just feel right for you. It's like Eckhart Tolle so often says, words are pointers. They aren't the real thing. They just point somewhere, like reading the menu and thinking you've eaten the meal. Go where they point. The bottom line is that the workings of mind and heart are distinctly different. Discover for yourself. Find that difference and get to know it. Give it what labels you will, or none. Just learn to discern. It will be most helpful in all of your explorations with me and in so many ways. Welcome home into heart living, my friends.